Hi, I'm Tom. This is Mina. This is Lucy. And there goes Lucy. And this is Kitty Help Desk. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about intelligence, and particularly intelligence in cats and other animals. We as human beings, we really like to compare and contrast things. It's one of the ways that we make decisions and value judgments in our lives. But when we compare and contrast levels of intelligence between animals, I honestly think that that is folly, because honestly, each animal occupies its own niche in the natural world, and each animal has exactly the intelligence that they need to occupy that niche effectively. So when people compare, well, are dogs smarter than cats and things like that? Cats are not as smart as dogs, are they? I hear questions like that from time to time. The fact is that a cat is exactly as smart as they need to be a cat. And a dog is exactly as smart as they need to be a dog. They are very different animals and they serve very different purposes in nature. Dogs are mainly scavengers, whereas cats are hunters. Cats work independently to hunt and get food. They do not cooperate with other cats. In fact, cats are not great communicators because of that. They haven't evolved the need to communicate with other cats effectively. So they communicate passively through scent. They scent mark with their glands on their feet, on their face, on their hindquarter, and by spraying urine, they can scent mark areas and leave their scents behind and let other cats and other animals know this is my territory. But they mainly communicate to one another through body language. You know, cats don't have complex facial muscles to make facial expressions, for example. You know, once you get to know a cat, you start to pick up on more of those facial expressions because they're very subtle. But for the most part, they just don't need to communicate how they're feeling about something to another cat. So they end up not needing to communicate that to us. Dogs, on the other hand, have been bred for behaviors for 10,000 years. And as we, as a species, humans, have bred dogs for behaviors, we have bred them to be more responsive to us, to be more connected to us. Whereas cats are really still wild animals at heart. They still have their wild instincts. And so if you dumped a dog out in the middle of nowhere and you dumped a cat out in the middle of nowhere, chances are the cat's going to survive longer, just because they've got those wild instincts intact. A dog may not know quite what to do on their own somewhere, whereas a cat, being alone, is really they're in their wheelhouse. So they have different levels of intelligence in regards to their instincts. They also have different levels of intelligence in terms of social intelligence, like what I was just talking about, communicating, cooperating. Cats aren't exactly cooperators, although there have been some interesting stories of cats who tried to help one another. There was a story about that a woman posted, and you know, you never know how much of this is real, but she seemed to legitimately believe what she was saying. She said that there were some feral cats that she was feeding in her yard, and that the mother had just given birth to kittens, and the male cat had stuck around, presumably the father of the kittens, had stuck around and was acting as a protector of the family. And when she went and put some food outside for them, the father saw the food, went and got the mother, brought her over and sat to the side while she ate, and didn't really see himself as being in competition with her. In fact, he really would not eat anything until she had finished eating. And that is the kind of thing that sometimes can happen when animals learn above and beyond what their instincts are telling them. Cats have a forebrain as well as their instinctual and emotional brains. So their forebrain allows them to learn based on experience, and individual cats will learn at very different rates. But that type of learning isn't really a sign of an animal's intelligence. It's more a sign of their adaptability. And cats, for the most part, are more adaptable than most animals. I think it's really one of the reasons why they make such good pets, is that they have adapted to life in a home, in a world with walls, with us, fairly well. Even though they still have their wild instincts intact, they have been able to adapt to this, very foreign situation and make the most of it. Cats are most highly adaptable up until about 20 weeks of age, because that's the time when the window closes on their acceptance of novel things. Once that 20-week mark has passed, they tend to see new things as potentially dangerous first. It's not that they can't accept them, it's just that their first instinct is, don't trust that until you know better. And that really is built in for a very good reason, because it keeps them alive. For example, if a cat has never seen an alligator, it's much better to assume that that thing is probably dangerous. Assume that it's dangerous until it's been proven otherwise. That's going to keep that cat alive a lot longer than if they just were like, oh, hello, who are you? And just walk right up to them. And that's all based on the idea that in the first 20 weeks, their mother is going to expose them to a great many things in their environment. A lot of things that they should accept. So anything that they're exposed to in that first 20 weeks, they tend to accept for the rest of their lives. And so that's a good time. If you have a cat that's less than 20 weeks old, you really want to socialize them to as many different types of people and situations and large groups of people, and television playing loud and music playing loudly, and like cars and trucks going by and driving in the car. All these things, you want to just expose them to as much of this as is possible. Like go to the vet, do all these things that normally would be sort of, frightening to a cat. You want to just kind of really lay a foundation for them to not be afraid of most of the things that they're going to encounter in life with us. So all of that is just to say that it's important to evaluate each animal on their own merit and not really compare them to one another, to different species. And I think that at the end of the day, you'll find that each species really fits in its niche very securely. And while you can have variable intelligence from individual to individual, it's still important to note that even within that, they may have different skills and have different degrees of intelligence in the application of those skills. So it's important not to just dismiss an animal as, oh, well, they're just dumb, because they're not. They're obviously equipped with everything that it needs to be them, just like us. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.